Yeah, what industry is almost as unpopular as the IRS? The airline industry. It's 8:07 here on News Radio 1140 WRVA. Customer satisfaction. But what's interesting to me is it's not so much the customer interaction you have at the ticket counter or going online to purchase tickets or that. It's the experience you have when you're on the plane. Cathy Banks joins us, travel expert. Why do you suppose that is, Cathy? We're just trying to cram too many people into too skinny seats?
I think that's a big part of it. I think another big part of it is that you mentioned the interaction at the ticket counter is satisfactory, but I don't think the interaction with the flight attendants and whatnot, and I don't want to dog on flight attendants, they have a hard job, but I think that most people don't feel embraced by the in-flight experience.
Okay. Has the in-flight experience really changed that much?
I think in some ways it has. I mean, certainly they're trying to cram, like you said, more and more seats into the same space. I think I read a statistic the other day, there's something like 30 more seats on the average airplane than there was a certain number of years ago. So, there's more people in the same space. And
this, by the way, is people continue to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, exactly. And this, while no one's checking bags anymore because we get charged for them, so everyone's trying to stuff stuff under their seat and stuff in the overhead bin, and the seats are smaller and there's more people, and it's just a recipe for disaster.
Well, I guess the question is the cat out of the bag on this. Is there a way to rectify it? Of course, if you want to go way back in history, there used to be a time in the airline industry where flying was considered to be a luxury experience, and people would dress up, and you got world-class attention and all kinds of food and drink, and it was a big deal to fly in an airplane. Now it's just kind of like a flying Greyhound bus.
Although I think the bus may be more comfortable.
You might have more room on the bus, huh?
Yeah, exactly. But I think three things that are unlikely to happen are the things that could change our in-flight experience. One is when consumers go to buy an airline ticket, you're looking for the least expensive way to get from point A to point B. And guess what? When you look for the least expensive way to get from point A to point B, this is the kind of thing you can expect. So things like Spirit Airlines, the most small seats, no pitch, so no leg room, and they sell tickets like hotcakes, and it's because they're the cheapest thing.
Yeah,
but for one thing,
and they're lowest on the list, aren't they? Spirit, as far as satisfaction.
They're horrible. And whenever we sell a package with a Spirit ticket, we're like, okay. Whenever we always hear complaints about Spirit, but it's this much cheaper. People eat it up like hotcakes. So that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Cathy, do you blame any of this, by the way, on all the mergers that occurred in the airline industry? There's just not as many companies to compete as there once was.
Well, there's that reason, and also if you look, for instance, Delta in this year's rankings went up 4%. I think that is because they are just now solidly out of the season when they were merging with Northwest. Like all their frequent flyers know what to expect again. All the employees now again know what to expect, and they're out of their merger. Whereas United is lower by 3%, and they are just finishing up their merger with Continental. And so when airlines merge, besides the impact on prices and competition and things like that, also now employees don't know, am I going to have the same dental coverage? Am I going to have the same retirement plan? Frequent flyers don't know, am I still going to get a free bag? Am I still going to get X number of miles to use on tickets and whatnot? So I think it makes for some disgruntledness across the board. And a prediction here, American and U.S. Airways both went up a little bit in the rankings this year, and I'm going to make a prediction that next year they're going to go down, not because they're horrible people, but just because they're right in the thick of their merger. And right, I'm a lifetime gold, and they just changed as far as my free bags and things like that. And that makes people upset. So I'm going to make a prediction that they're going to go down next year.
Well, Cathy, that's a great observation. My wife for years worked for Continental Airlines. She left when Continental went through their United merger, and there's a real clash of culture going on there. You've got half of them are union and half of them aren't, and the employees aren't necessarily getting along with one another. It creates problems.
It does, and it translates down to how customers are treated.
No doubt about it. Cathy, thanks for the observations. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Travel expert Cathy Banks.